It was the Don't Come Monday game for Carlton against a drastically undermanned opponent. It should have been the kill that the Blues were looking for. Instead, it's become the case study of what David Teague's men have not become.
Yeah, socially tested. A few on Zoom. We've got some work to do. We've got a lot of work to do. We had too many players that didn't get their job done. We had too many players that didn't execute. We needed more guys to step up, crack in and compete. But you need to do the basics really well. From sitting where I sat today, that was probably what I noticed the most.
Just at times seemed too hard for the Blues players, and even some individual efforts from the Carlton Footy Club players where you go, oh, hang on, that's more worrying about themselves rather than what they can do for the team.
If you haven't got that, if you haven't got the psychology to defend, to be team first, and you haven't got an evidence system, how can you get the best out of your group?
Yep.
I think he's in real trouble now.
We probably haven't improved as much as we would have liked to, and you can tell by the results. We're not getting the results. We're a fair way off where we need to be, but we've got better footy than we're delivering right now, and that's our job, to get the best out of our group.
It's probably the frustration for Carlton supporters. I don't think they want the honourable losses anymore.
Oh, it's absolutely an uphill battle. Take away the finals, the way we play. It's going to be more about how we train, how we prepare and how we execute. Right now, we're not executing in a manner that you need to be able to do to win AFL games of football, and the scoreboard's showing it. Like we're not good enough. We're not good enough. We're not good enough.
All manner of questions posed in the aftermath of that defeat at the hands of West Coast, and most pointedly, Robbo, being asked by the club itself. You've been in contact with Carlton late today.
Yeah, they're having a... This is an old-fashioned full-on review, Jared. Every aspect of the football department was going to be examined at the end of the year. The Carlton Football Club has brought it forward to the mid-year break, which starts today. I must remind you that Mark McClure put this on the agenda on this show about 5-6 weeks ago.
This, even more recently, this is exactly what he prescribes.
Yep.
A root and branch review of the football department from its administration through to its players.
Well, this review is not about the administration. This review only is at the football department, and it will take in performance, coaching, development, list management, recruiting, same thing, and fitness. At 4-8, Carlton tell me they're not in crisis. I wrote this morning they're approaching crisis. So they're going to sit down. I think there'll be external reviewers, and there'll be someone internal, I think, to guide along. But they're going to external reviews. But this is significant, absolutely significant, and front and square. Everyone will think it's the coach, David Teague. Everyone's got an opinion on the coach. But I tell you what, Jared, there's got to come a time where these players have got to put their hand up, and we've all said it. We have spoken. Every single person in football, everyone who barracks for Carlton has spoken about every aspect that I just mentioned this year and last year and 5 years ago and 10 years ago. There is something culturally, environmentally wrong at Carlton for this to go on for as long as it's going on.
So whether they're in crisis or not is semantics. This is a crisis manoeuvre. A report that was scheduled, a review that was scheduled for the end of the year has been brought forward to the here and the now because the club has been fully exposed as not making the progress that they had forecast for themselves in the season where the time for development was over. They have lapsed back to 4 and 8.
Yes, they have, Jared. So the club tells me this review will absolutely end up with some discovery, and from that discovery there will be recommendations. They assure me this is not a review of the senior coach. Okay, now they have brought in John Worsfold already. No, they're not talking about sacking David Teague. Everyone else is, not right now. But if this doesn't change, I think every Carlton supporter has the right to ask their football club, is David Teague getting what he wants from the players? Are the players listening to David Teague and the coaching department? But it always gets back to the coach. And there's David Teague there. We see David Teague every week and saying the same thing every week. It's not a criticism, it's an observation. We've got to work harder, we've got to get better. We're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it. You can stop talking about it and start fixing it. So what happens now, Carlton are thinking to themselves, because of the results, is David Teague the right man? And that's a fair question. I don't think it's a witch hunt question. I think it's a fair question. But at the same time, this Carlton Football Department have got to start asking the question of the players, are you the right player to be wearing the dark navy blue jumper? Do you understand? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve for yourself? Are you trying to achieve for him or for the team? These are some of the questions in this big review, Jared, that they have to absolutely lay on the table if they're going to make footsteps in the second half of the season. Because there will be carnage. If they go 4-8 coming home, right? Say they do. So they're going to finish 16. Thanks for your help.
8-14.
8-14. Well, they've won 4. Yeah, 4. So they'll be 8-14. Do you reckon that's acceptable?
No.
Do you reckon there'll be, I don't want to say blood, but they'll have to be changed.
There's change coming regardless.
They're going to have change.
It's just where the appropriate level of change is and where should it be directed. So when you watched yesterday, did you think those players demonstrated the, I'll use your word, urgency of the moment?
No.
That they grasped the magnitude of the day?
No.
That there was no tomorrow in the game that they played. It had to be all laid out on the line on the SCG. And they didn't. Let's be really honest.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't. But
they jog around.
But the funny thing about your question there, Jared, and it's a really good question. The funny thing is, just how does a club get itself in a position where it's do or die? They should play do or die round 1, round 2, round 3. Now, there's going to be levels of performance. But you don't get back in the corner and say, we really got to play well today. This is our season on the line. I mean, really? We got to that stage at round 12, our season's on the line.
But that usually sparks
a response. It can spark.
A demonstrable response that you can sit there and watch and go, yeah, this means the world to them today.
Did you watch the first 4 minutes of the game?
It didn't mean the world to them yesterday.
No, just the first 4 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
I'm watching it going, what's going on? Is this match practice? They'll do it. They're playing football. This is where wiser heads than me and you, actually, we probably need the Almighty to discuss this. Why? Players play and players try. Every week, players play and players try, and they try and do the best. Why can't Carlton players actually stop trying and actually deliver? Why can't they play as a team? Why can't they defend as a team? Why can't they roll off and help each other? Why don't they sit there and say, right, as the game goes on, let's all do this? Right now I'm thinking they're really missing Simpson at half-back because he was the organiser. That's just one idea. But why can't that happen? Now, Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin has, and Melbourne fans will remember this, he kept on saying, it's coming, we're building. And this year when it's happened, he said, we knew it was going to take a long time. Now, does Carlton get the same allowance?
No, Melbourne had been to a preliminary final before they had their 2 years of disappointment. Carlton haven't achieved anything yet in this build.
They haven't achieved zap. It's a big play by Carlton. For a mid-year review, it's a really big play.
Should David Teague feel on trial?
Carlton's saying no, but the rest of the footy world says yes.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, he couldn't not feel on trial. He won't be the lone figure. But
we asked him
tonight. He couldn't not feel on trial. He won't be able to say that publicly, but in his private moments, one day that's what he will share.
We asked him last week when he was on our show, do you feel a sense of urgency about your own job? And he said no. I wonder if we had him again, would he say no?
Yeah.